Light. Today we will discuss about the reflection of light. First of all, we have to discuss what is light. As you know, it is a form of energy and by which we are able to see the things around us. And it is light which makes us see our image in a looking mirror. We also need a source of light to make objects visible. It is only when light coming from an object enters our eyes that we are able to see that object. That is aware. So we will define what is light. It is a form of radiant energy which produces sensation in eyes and enables us to see the object around us. Whenever light falls on an object, it gets reflected by the object and received by our eyes. Therefore, we see that object. Once again, it is a form of radiant energy which produces sensation in our eyes and enables us to see the objects around us. And whenever light falls on an object, it gets reflected by the object and received by our eyes. Therefore, we see that object. Now we have to check what types of objects are around us. The objects like sun, stars, electric bulbs, tube lights, torch, candles, fire, etc. They are called luminous. Luminous objects. These objects can emit light, are known as luminous objects. And some others like flower, the beautiful flowers, chairs on which we are sitting, tables by which we are writing something, pencil, paper, etc., etc. They cannot emit light themselves, but only reflect or scatter the light falls on them. They are known as non-luminous. Non-luminous objects. Now we have understood that the light is a form of energy which causes in as the sensation of sight. Sensation of sight. It causes the sensation of sight. Now we have to discuss the nature of light. What is the nature of light? There are two theories about the nature of light. One is the wave theory and another is the particle theory. According to wave theory, light consists of electromagnetic waves which do not require a material medium like solid, liquid or gas for their propagation or their for travel. Light consists of electromagnetic waves which do not require any material medium for its propagation. The visible wavelength of light varies. It is so small, about 4 into 10 raised to minus 7 meter to 8 into 10 raised to minus 7 meter, and its speed, that you know, the speed of light is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meters per second in vacuum. Meter per second in vacuum. According to the particle theory, light is composed of particles which travels in straight line at a very high speed. Light is composed of particles. This is another concept. Light is composed of particles which travels in a straight line at a very high speed. So we can say that the elementary particle of light is known as photon. The photon is the elementary particle of light. So we can say light is having a double nature, dual nature of light is this one. One it is having a particle nature and another one is the wave nature. Modern theory, or we can say it is known as the quantum theory also. It combines both the wave and particle models of light. It is referring the wave and particle models of light according to the condition. Okay, it is having a dual nature. It exhibits properties of both waves and particles depending upon the situation it is in. The modern theory is known as the quantum theory. The quantum theory says light is having a dual nature and it is showing the property of the waves and particles depending on the situation it is in. Now, what is reflection? Reflection of light. Reflection is a process of sending back the light rays. Reflection is a process of sending back the light rays which fall on the surface of an object is known as reflection, or it is, we can say it's a bouncing back. It is known as a bouncing back. Whenever light falls on a polished surface such as mirror, it gets reflected back in the same plane in which it was incident. Or we can say that bouncing back of light after striking a polished surface is called reflection of light. Now we can say an object placed in the dark cannot be seen as there is no light incident on the object that gets reflected back to our eyes to make it visible. Silver metal is the best reflectors of light. That is why ordinary mirrors are made by depositing a thin layer of silver metal on the backside of the plain glass sheet. The silver layer is then protected by a coat of red paint. The reflection of light in the plain mirror is due to the silver surface on it. Got it? When a ray of light falls on a plain mirror or a plain surface or a polished metal surface, it is reflected according to some laws. They are called the laws of reflection. Laws of reflection. Before studying the laws of reflection, we have to refer some terms. They are incident ray, reflected ray, normal. Normal means a perpendicular to the mirror. Angle of incidence, angle of reflection. In this picture, we can say this is a mirror, the grounded one. This is a mirror and its name is M dash. The ray of light falls on the mirror surface is called the incident ray. Here AO is the incident ray and it is hitting at the point O on the mirror surface. And the ray which is coming to the same medium, that is OB, it is known as the reflected ray. This is known as the point of incidence. The point at which the O is known as the point of incidence on the mirror, of the incident ray to the mirror. That is O, point of incidence. When we make a perpendicular to the mirror at the point of incidence, which is named as ON, it is a perpendicular to the mirror surface, or we can say it is a normal. I is the incident angle of incidence and R is known as the angle of reflection. Now we can say the incident ray, reflected ray and point of incidence, or we can say the normal, are lying in a plane or in the same plane. And it is obvious by the help of this picture that incident angle of incidence and the angle of reflection are the same. These are the laws of reflection. These are the laws of reflection. What are the laws of reflection? The first law of reflection is incident ray, reflected ray and the normal at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. You have to check this picture only. This is the first law. The first law of reflection is incident ray, reflected ray and the normal at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. All lie in the same plane. The second law is angle of reflection is always equal to the angle of incidence. Angle of reflection is always equal to the angle of reflection. We can write angle I is equal to angle R. Angle R. This is second law. Second law of reflection is the angle of reflection is always equal to the angle of incidence. Or we can write angle I is equal to angle R. This is the second law of reflection, by which we can say some, like when the incident ray hits the mirror at an angle 40 degree, the reflected ray will go with an angle of reflection that is also 40 degree. If it hit at 90 degree on the mirror, and the reflected ray will also go in the same direction and with having a 0 degree change. Or we can say the angle of incidence is 0 degree, then the angle of reflection is also 0 degree. Now we have to check the types of reflection. Types of reflection. There are two types of reflection. One is a regular reflection and another is irregular or diffused reflection. When a beam of light, what is known as a beam of light? Beam of light is nothing but a bundle of light rays. Bundle of light rays, that is known as a beam of light. When a beam of light falls on the surface, a smooth surface, what will happen? What will happen? All particles of the smooth surface are facing in same direction. So, its surface is smooth. When the light beam falls on this surface, the angle of incidence will be the same as the angle of reflection, and the parallel light rays will go parallel to the parallel again, and the reflected ray and the incident rays will be parallel. And in an irregular or diffused one, the parallel beam of incident light is reflected in different directions. In this case, parallel incident rays do not remain parallel after reflection. They are scattered in different directions. The diffuse reflection is also known as irregular reflection or scattering, or we can say scattering. Scattering. The diffused reflection of light takes place from rough surface like paper, cardboard, table, chair, walls, or the other items we are seeing, and even unpolished metal objects. When a parallel beam of light rays falls on the rough surface of a sheet of paper or something like that, the light is scattered by making reflected rays in different directions, as in this figure, as shown in this figure. It can be explained as this: the particles of a rough surface are all facing in different directions like this. Due to this property, the angle of incidence for the parallel rays of the light falling on a rough surface are different, and hence the angle of reflection of the same will also be different. Since the angles of incidence and angles of reflection are different, the parallel rays of light falling on the rough surface go in different directions. And in regular one, the angle of incidence of all the parallel rays of light falling on the smooth surface is the same, and hence the angle of reflection for all the rays of light is also the same. Since the angle of incidence and angle of reflection are the same, the beam of parallel rays of light falling on the smooth surface is reflected as a beam of parallel light rays in one direction only. These are the different types of reflection: regular and irregular, which can be said as diffused one, or we can say scattering.